Hello all to another video. In this video, I'm going to talk about the techniques that I use to feel more comfortable in social settings. Being an anxious person, an introverted person such as myself, and I know there are a lot of others, we often do little things here and there that we think help us cope in social settings, when really it's just activating anxiety even more, or if anything, it's just making us that much more intolerant of social settings and making us that much more likely to isolate, which is what you don't want to do when you're an anxious person. So, the first thing that I do when I'm in a social setting and I'm feeling anxious is that I don't try to look down. I try to look at my surroundings, because when we look down, we first of all, we limit our view. And when we limit our view, our brain comes up with conclusions as to what to be fearful about. It creates images. We start overthinking. We start constantly ruminating. We get lost within our anxiety, and we don't, because we're not looking around us, our brain doesn't have factual evidence to relate to. It's not using the surroundings as information to convey to us that there's nothing to be afraid of, because there isn't. When we're busy looking down, all we see pretty much is just the ground, and we don't look anybody in the eye. We don't look in front of us. It can make us that much more clumsy, and it just overall makes our anxiety worse. So the first thing that I do when I'm feeling anxious is that I look around me, and when I do that, almost always I always see pretty much that no one is paying attention to me. No one is even looking at me, unless you're wearing something completely ridiculous that you're trying to warrant attention. Most likely that's not the case. Most people aren't paying attention to you. They don't really care. They're too busy with their own business, with their children, with their kids. They're just overall focusing on what they're doing. They don't care about what you do, because they have nothing to gain from paying attention to you, unless you're extremely attractive, in which you warrant attention, which is a separate video on its own. But if that's the case, it's a compliment to you. But for the most part, people aren't paying attention to you. They're just trying to go about their day. They have their own livelihoods, their own problems, their own overall business, and they're just trying to do what they're trying to do at the store or whatnot. And they're not most likely paying attention to you. They may glance, but maybe it's just because you're in their field of view of where they're trying to look, and you still happen to be there. But overall, people aren't trying to look at you. So the second one that I do is that I don't rush. I take my time. Whatever it is that I'm doing, I just tell myself, I visualize a stop sign, a red stop sign that basically declares that I need to stop if I'm feeling anxious, and stop rushing. Just stop. It's okay to just take a break right then and there and just let things fall as they may. To just be there. You can just stop and just take a break and recharge and reset. So whenever you're feeling anxious and feeling that need to panic and rush and move, what I do is I visualize a stop sign, I stop, and I tell myself, reset, and just take your time, and just focus on your immediate surroundings, focus on whatever it is that you need to do, and that's it. There really isn't anything more complicated than it needs to be, other than the fact that we make it more complicated. But just the facts on things is that you're just at the store or whatnot, buying groceries or whatever, and you can take all the time that you need. No one needs to rush you. You don't need to rush. You don't need to panic. You can take one foot in front of the other and focus just on that. And it's completely fine. It's completely normal. It's completely okay to just relax and take your time. The more we rush, the more we warrant anxious behavior, anxious reactions. The more we relax and take our time, the more we feel relaxed, and the more we warrant relaxation. So I just try to take my time. So that's the second one. The third one that I try to do is that I try to always appear my best. It may not be the best in terms of the standards of other people, But as for myself, I feel comfortable in my own skin with my appearance and the way I look at times, not all the time. But whenever I leave the house, I try to make that my mission to do that, to always appear my best, to always appear presentable. That was passed down to me from my family, to always look presentable, because when you look presentable, you have a more positive image about yourself, and you also draw more positive attention. You just feel overall better when you know that you look good. When you look good, you feel good. And it's not narcissism, it's not arrogance to want to work on your appearance and want to look your best. Doll yourself up if you want to. You have every right to do that. And it just helps me as an anxious person to ease the anxiety when I have an overall positive image of myself when I'm out in public. Healthy eating, a healthy diet, drink a lot of water, take care of your skin, have good hygiene, exercise, get in shape. All of these things help to ease anxiety and to give you an overall positive image about yourself and feel more comfortable in your own skin. I can't stress that enough, how important exercise and eating healthy are to anxiety, and how it can ease anxiety, and how we aren't so prone to being anxious, especially in social settings, when we have a more positive image about ourselves. So that's the third one. The fourth one is that if you're with someone, a family member, friend, focus on just that one person, and that's all you need to do. Give all your time and attention to that one person, or just your family, and that's all you need to do. Everyone else around you, other than your family or the immediate people with you, don't matter, because they won't be there at the end of the day. The people that are going to be there at the end of the day are the people that you're with, and they deserve all the attention that you can give them, not to the people, the strangers that don't warrant that, don't need that from you. You know, there's nothing for them to gain from your attention, and you don't have anything to give them as well, because you don't know them. And by focusing on them, it really just drains you and makes you feel that much more anxious when you don't need to be. The people that you are with, they deserve your attention, and they're the ones that deserve your focus, and you're there with them for them. So that's what I try to do if I'm with my family. If I'm feeling anxious, I just try to focus my attention on them and to give them whatever they need, whatever they want. I'm just there for them. And just by having that goal in mind when I'm feeling anxious, it helps me to direct my anxiety to, it just gives overall direction to my anxiety, rather than just have it be rampant and everywhere and just, out of my control. I feel more in control when I'm paying my attention to somebody that I'm with, rather than just having it just flow everywhere and letting my environment get the best of me. I can flow my anxiety, my direction, to the people that I'm with. And for me, it just helps me calm down when I'm focusing my attention. So that's just basically the four things that I do to help me feel at ease in social settings. I will actually go deeper into new social settings, such as a job, things that I do to make me feel better, but that's a separate video that I'll make. But for now, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you got something, and see you on the next one.